I'm at Honey Bear Ranch in Broken Bow, which is run by Sandy and Phil Harris. Sandy, tell me a bit about how you got started here with this wonderful ranch.
We moved down here in March of 2005, and we wanted to grow good quality, wholesome food for ourselves. That's how we started. And as we got to know people here in Broken Bow, they found out what we were doing and wanted to know if we would be willing to sell some of what we produced.
Okay.
And we said, sure, we'd be glad to do that. And then they saw the plants that we produced, the eggplants and the peppers and the tomatoes, and we use mostly heirlooms, especially in the tomatoes. And they wanted to know if they could buy some of those, and we said, sure, we'd be glad to do that. So one thing kind of led to the other. We started with a small greenhouse down by the house, which Phil built and made into a place where we could start some, on a small scale, some tomato plants and peppers and eggplant. And within a year, we outgrew that, and then we came up here at the end of this hoop house is another propagation house that we use now, and it's already too small.
And so you start all your own seeds for your gardens, but also to sell to visitors as well.
Right. We sell mostly what we start here are tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant, and herbs. And we don't do squash plants. We find that they don't really do very well transplanting. So primarily our focus is on the tomatoes and peppers and eggplant. And we try new varieties every year. We sell seeds from Baker Creek in Missouri, who does all, yes, they do all heirloom seeds, and that's what we use.
I was impressed you have so many different tomatoes. How many varieties of tomatoes?
36.
36, and most of those are heirlooms. I have a couple of them here, and you know, this is probably an unusual looking tomato to a lot of your guests.
It is. It's a black cherry tomato, and it's very sweet and it's wonderful. People at first, when we introduce black tomatoes down here, they're going, "What is that?" But when people would come out, we'd give them a sample, and they come back and say, "You know, that was really good. Can I have some more?"
And that's a great way. You'd mentioned you had people out and cooked for them so that they could start to taste some of these different varieties and learn to appreciate their flavors.
The first couple of years we had cookouts about 3 times a year. Well, the first one was for tomatoes, and then for eggplant, and then for peppers. And we would teach them new and probably unique ways of preparing food that maybe they hadn't thought about, and in a healthy way. So they're, you know, a lot of people in the South like fried food, and we prepare ours on the grill or not using, not frying it. So it's a lot healthier. And we raise everything here without chemicals. We use natural products, which is why you'll see weeds, because we don't use Roundup to get rid of the weeds. And
you have a lot of animals, and you use their manures for fertilizers.
Yes,
so
we
it's
do.
A real nice integrated farm.
Right. I guess you could call it sustainable. We try to use what we have out here naturally to enhance the fertility of our soil. One of the things, my husband has done a lot of research on soil fertility, and one of the things he's discovered is that when the soil is fertile, the bugs and the weeds disappear. Not totally, but they don't like as fertile a soil. They don't like the fertile soil, and the plants do better, needless to say. So.
Well, part of this community education, you know, you had it educating the public on new flavors and new varieties, but also growing, and you've started a new project. The community garden. Why don't we go take a look at that?
All righty.
Well, this community garden was an addition just this year.
Right.
What got you started in the idea of having a community garden here?
Primarily demand. We had people that came out that used to plant gardens and were getting on an age and couldn't turn the dirt over anymore, but longed to have tomatoes and peppers that they could tend. And then there were younger people that didn't really have a place to garden because a lot of the land around here is pretty shaded. And we knew we had enough land out here that we could donate part of it to a community garden. When we first opened this up this spring, we had it rough tilled, and we opened it up, I think we had 40 slots available, and we had 38 signed up for. Well, you can tell we don't have that many gardeners. People found out that it's really a lot of work, or something else came up that they couldn't really do it this year. So we have probably about 10 now that are really avid gardeners that come out pretty much several times a week to tend to their gardens. This one is particularly, we're really proud of it. This is a young girl who's not gardened before. This is her first year, and she has really put a lot of time and effort into her garden.
A beautiful garden.
And the okra she planted, and over here is more okra and corn that she has planted, and her mother now comes out and helps her, and her dad occasionally, and they have retired and moved here. They weren't here in the spring when Gina started this, so we're really proud of her and what she has accomplished.
And you said this was her first year gardening,
Yes.
and one of the services you provide to the community is some educational classes on how to garden.
Right, starting about, I guess it was about February, we started offering classes on how to prepare the soil, how to plant a tomato, a variety of different things. We ended up the first weekend in June with one on herbs, and you know, sometimes we had a whole bunch of people, sometimes we didn't have anybody, but it was great. The flowers, I did ask somebody who's a very big expert on flowers to teach for us, one of our Pats. We have two Pats that come out here and garden. But anyway, we did this because it was something that we could do to help our community out and to further the effort of Eat Local, because that's very important to us. Good, healthy, wholesome food goes a long way to making a good, healthy, wholesome person. And all of the chemicals and things that have been added to our food, I don't think are very good for us. So that's part of what this is all about.
It's wonderful the way that you've grown to meet these growing demands from your community and from visitors who come up to the area to provide them those local foods that they're looking for.
We have people from Beaver's Bend that occupy the cabins. There's over 600 cabins up there, and they're usually full even in the wintertime. And people come out here. We have advertising up there. We put out flyers for the cabins, and they come and buy some of our produce. And then we have our local folks that return customers that come year after year, and our best advertising has been word of mouth. And then we have others that come and maybe visit for the day and find out about us and come out and take produce home with them. So.
And you also work with the Oklahoma Agritourism Program.
Right. Jeff has been out here several times and has helped promote us, which is wonderful because it's advertising is expensive, and we don't have that big an advertising budget. But the Oklahoma Agritourism folks have really done a good job of promoting Oklahoma agriculture, especially the small folks like us, or some of the other venues like the ranches, the cabins. There's a whole lot of things to do in Oklahoma that a lot of people don't know about, and Oklahoma Agritourism has done a wonderful job of promoting that. So that's kind of how we got involved with them.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
sharing your ranch with us. It's very
We're glad
delightful.
you were here. It was good to have you out here.